Welcome back to the Long Fly Ball Pod, where Tyler's at my house and I am not. Our guest this afternoon needs no introduction. The Oklahoma commit gets up to 106 miles per hour off his bat, and he's our preseason pick for Player of the Year. From Lee Summit West, Drew Dickerson joins us tonight. Drew, welcome to the pod. Um, you just got out of practice. It's 6:40 p.m. We talked this week about how you don't know when you get out of practice. Is that like a really common baseball thing? I feel like every sport that I played, I always knew when practice was done.
We kind of know around what time, but it just depends on what the week looks like. But yeah, I think it's a common thing for every baseball guy for sure. I don't know.
So we're gonna go through kind of like in a chronological fashion today. We're gonna talk about what sports were like growing up for you into high school, and kind of into the future as well. But we'll start with, um, I have a clip. I can't share it on my computer because it's on Instagram, but I do have a clip, and I believe it is you in eighth grade, dunking. It's on your dad's Instagram because your dad posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
So what? Obviously, you don't play at Lee Summit West. When did you start specializing in baseball, or when did what were sports like for you early on?
So growing up, I only wrestled and played baseball. That started in around kindergarten. That's all I did until middle school. My last year of wrestling was in seventh grade, and then um, eighth grade I played basketball and football, and that's when I picked up both of those. And I played those until sophomore year, and then I was dialed in on baseball for the last 2 years. Of that's the only thing I've been doing.
So what was kind of like the meaning to you behind just kind of sticking with baseball? Was there a point where you knew like, all right, it's time to specialize and lock in?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was sophomore year of football. I saw a kid hurt his leg, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And so that kind of was the first, I guess you could say, sign, the biggest sign really. After that, I kind of just put it away. And also, I don't know. I've always had baseball, and I knew that was probably my calling if I had one. So that I just kind of said I was going to be all in on baseball.
And that kind of coincides with that period where you can kind of start to hear through the grapevine college and what's going to be next for you. Around when did you start? Because obviously you're Oklahoma commit. When did you start getting kind of that interest and coaches start reaching out, or even when did you start to realize what your potential was?
Um, so it's funny. It was eighth grade, and I had no clue what anything meant. Like I always just played baseball, and that was just it. But my dad was like, "Hey, let's go to this Mizzou camp," because Mizzou baseball had a camp over the winter. And so in eighth grade, I went to that camp, and I guess I did okay. And one of the coaches, I mean, they reached out to me, and well, we talked there, and then we talked on the phone a few weeks later, and I committed to Missouri. That was my first ever commit. First ever college I talked to. I mean, they were like kind of my dream school. They were one of my, you know, two or three dream schools. And so I thought it was only right, right? I didn't know anything else. And so eighth grade was when it kind of really clicked, I guess you could say. But yeah, it was kind of early.
So what kind of like, obviously not with Mizzou anymore. Was there something that happened where you were like, all right, maybe we jumped the gun a little bit, or was it kind of like, I'm just not feeling it? Obviously, there's a lot of mental and emotional change that had to have gone on between eighth grade and now being 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. So what was kind of like the metamorphosis of that decision through the years? Because I think I remember when you decommitted from Mizzou.
Yeah.
It wasn't super long. It's since we've been a thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of led to that.
I'll just start. So yeah, I decommitted from them before this last summer started. So a little bit after high school season, but their whole coaching staff obviously changed, and so I decided to step back and meet the new coaching staff. But I didn't think it was very fair to just meet them and stay committed to them. And so I decided to step back and say I'm open to anyone, even Mizzou. And yeah, that's it. I was obviously really bought into the guys there before. I was there for, I mean, committed there for whatever it was, 3 years, 3 or 4 years, whatever it was. And so that change, obviously, it was a big enough change for me to step back and kind of see what else was out in the world too.
What made you buy into Oklahoma? Like, was it the coaching
Uh,
staff, atmosphere?
yeah, I think it was everything. The first like thing that got me there was the coaches though. They really hooked my attention. And then them going to move into the SEC, I think that'd be really cool for my, to start my freshman, not to start, but like for that to be my first year of college. Transferring into obviously into the SEC would be awesome. And then I don't know, I got a feeling when I was down there that that was the place for me, and I was super pumped, obviously. But
So baseball, obviously there's a lot of difference in what visits and the schedules look like for baseball guys. So what was kind of like, what do official visits look like, or even unofficials as a baseball guy look like?
so it's kind of different at every school, but for Oklahoma, the unofficial was kind of you just kind of toured a little bit. Um, it wasn't. I mean, there's not really much you could do on an unofficial. I mean, so I think we met the coaching staff, kind of saw the field, saw the dorms, and saw the campus, and that was kind of it. Um, but the official visit was cool. They got us a hotel room for my whole family. Um, we had dinner with them, I think 3 times. We were at Top Golf one time. That was like all the recruits. There's a handful of us down there. And so we all went to Top Golf and kind of had a good time. And then we also watched the football game. That was blew me away. That was awesome. Oklahoma football is crazy. And then you also meet with like all the academic people. You get to go inside of the dorms. So you just see what you're like gonna be living. Yeah. And you also can get like toured by some of the players. And so they would take us off and be like, this is kind of how I go day to day and what it looks like. And that's when you kind of can ask questions about if they truly like, and see what's going on. But it's super cool. Both of them are really cool.
And obviously, like we're gonna have yeah, I got you, Tyler. But obviously, like we're gonna have you and I would have different experiences. I'm also at an SEC school in Mizzou, so like I know there were things that I looked forward to in day to day life. Is there anything that like you're specifically looking forward to at Oklahoma or just for college in general? Obviously, it's gonna be a lot different than high school. You're probably the man, at least I'm at West, but you know,
Yeah. I think a routine like on a higher level is going to be very helpful. I think it's a big change, and I think it's also a learning curve. So I'm really excited for the whole experience. Um, but I think a routine is probably what I would say is my biggest thing. I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
gotcha, Tyler.
How are you looking forward to this next year? Like getting ready. Of course, you guys are in a tough Class 6, and you're going to be playing a lot of good teams.
I mean, it's day to day. Obviously, that's a generic answer, but I mean, we all kind of right now are doing our own. I mean, we're all in the same practice, but like the pitchers are doing their thing, infielders are doing our thing. We'll mix in with the outfielders. We all kind of just do our own thing. We all are getting our reps in, and like we're all we're all bought in. So um, it's just a day to day thing, getting better every single day, and try not to look too far in the future and just play it game by game, practice by practice. But it's nothing crazy.
And
Doing our
even
thing.
like looking back last year, I mean, every year since I can remember, you guys have kind of been not a team to beat, but a team to look out for. Obviously, nobody wants to play you guys in a 3 game series. I mean, last year you guys took two, I'm pretty sure 2 out of 3 off Liberty North, who went on to win the state title. Um, what makes this campaign different? Because it feels like there's just a different on our end, at least, there's something different about this group from other groups. What, I mean, is it for you guys, or is this just another season in the books for you?
I think I don't want to say it's wrong, but the difference I think is more so like everyone's already locked in with college. That's just, like, we can just throw that out the door. So like most every one of our returners was a junior last year, and we all are now going to play college somewhere. So that's obviously something that no one has to like fight anymore for. Um, and so like we all now have one goal. Like we all had a few goals combined the last few years, but now it's all one thing, and it's like we have one more shot to do whatever we want. And I think we're all just determined a little bit more spot on. But
I mean, and
nothing.
it does kind of in your it helps you guys. You guys play one heck of a schedule this year. You open the year at Creekside, obviously, like you did last year. I don't think you guys played in red and blue in Springfield last year, but you do this year, and you play really 2.5 ranked teams. And that just having your schedule pulled up here, and obviously the Suburban Gold has had this back-to-back state champion, and then a team that was a state runner-up 2 years ago. So what do you, and then obviously River City at the end of the year, but what kind of, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that this is not a schedule that you see a team win 40 games on. It's pretty apparent that there's going to be some of these games that are not, the perfect season. It's different than football and basketball, where a team could really justifiably win 35 games. So what's kind of the day to day? Because I was a basketball guy in high school. So it's like we wanted to come out and we thought we could win every single night. And obviously you do too, but there's much more time for the ebbs and flows. So what's that kind of like on the baseball end?
Yeah, so obviously like every day is or every game is like let's win. That's obviously generic, but I think putting yourself up against the best, or a good competition, I guess you could say, will just prepare you for whatever it may be at the end. And so, I don't know. I mean, as long as we win the last game of the season, I don't think that whatever our record is, really matters. But we're also going to try and win every single one.
Is there any matchup that you're like looking forward to, especially this year, or is any team that you're like, oh man, like I think Rockhurst beat you guys in the playoffs last year. So I mean, any teams that you're like, we want those guys, or
Yeah, so we obviously want Rockers, and we want to like that's we've all had a chip on our shoulder from that from that game. So that's and I can talk for the whole team. That would be our biggest one. But I'm also excited to play. Like I'm excited to hit off Cole, and honestly, all Blue Springs. I mean that they have pitching. Um, Hopefully excited to play. Francis. That'd be cool to play. Go down and play with Titus. Liberty North is always fun. I mean, there's not like I'm excited for it all.
right.
Both Lee Summits is also really fun too. I enjoy playing our crosstowns. Those are usually some fun games.
Last thing about kind of the upcoming season, you kick off with Creekside. That's this week. We'll be there. Bentonville, Lafayette, Platte County, and Kearney. Lafayette, one of the best teams out of the St. Louis area, and then Bentonville. You don't always get an opportunity to play an Arkansas school. What's kind of the mindset going into that? Because obviously, as the year goes on, you're playing 2 or 3 games a week, and you kind of get in that flow of playing games. What's this kind of final prep week before we play games looks like? What does that look like?
I mean, this week, we just talked about it today. Like we're ready. Like we all feel ready to play. So I don't even think it's so much like let's go prove this, let's go prove that. It's like more so just let's start. Like let's go have a fun year. Like so right now, I mean, honestly, we just are doing our thing. Getting our reps in and getting better and just kind of getting in shape, honestly, for the year. But yeah, it's nothing crazy. But we're all ready and we're ready to play. That's really it.
And we're gonna get into some fun stuff, but one thing that I did want to ask about, because I think it's different sport to sport as well. is you're playing baseball for most of the year now. I mean, with summer ball, playing for the White Sox, things like that. Is that obviously they're both very important for a lot of separate reasons. But coming off of, what obviously wasn't your best high school, you're not for you, but just for the team in general, and kind of having that like, dang, maybe we could have done more. Was summer ball kind of like, I don't know, I'm not even going to try to guide you into the question, but what does that feel like? Is it kind of like, man, I want to break for a couple days, and because you guys play a lot. I mean, I remember trying to schedule all-star baseball, and you guys are playing like way more baseball than I even could ever imagine. And I know from playing summer basketball, like there's sometimes where you're like, dang, man, like I love this, but this is like the 40th weekend in a row that I played baseball on. So was that refreshing to you? Was it kind of like a test of any kind? What was that like?
Yeah. So, I never really was like, dude, this is too much. But there's obviously like there was weeks that I mean, I wasn't home for more than maybe 2 weeks at one point through whatever however many months. So yeah, you're definitely away from home a lot. But like you're doing, or at least me, I'm doing what like I love and like what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I think it is somewhat of a test and somewhat of like this is it. Like you're just gonna play baseball here and there and you're gonna figure it out. But um I don't know. I think when you're around the guys that are like-minded, it's a lot easier. And you're traveling the world. So I think seeing both things is I think it I think you kind of forget about the home part a little bit.
And what's that relationship like? Because it's different from high school to summer ball, obviously. Is the high school guys, you're not, you don't have to bunk with somebody or sleep in a hotel room with somebody. But with summer ball, it's kind of a different dichotomy, a different relationship. What's your relationship like with some of the guys for White Sox or even other places you played?
Um, so I think summer, I think you get to choose who you're around, and the type of talent, I guess you could say. And so I think it's just a different mindset again. Um, and so I think you come closer because you guys are all like, you could reach this
Mhm.
goal and you're all trying to reach the goal at the same time. And so I think you kind of bond differently than just your, best friend that you've grown up with since, kindergarten. Um, but again, I think it's just a brotherhood. No matter what, if you're playing baseball, it's the same game. So um, I think relationships are pretty cool. You get to live with those forever, just through baseball.
Gotcha. And now we're gonna get into the fun stuff. This is where Tyler's really gonna shine through with his crazy, weird questions that I don't think about.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm much more traditional than you are when it comes to like, you're gonna be like, you're stuck on an island. You get to bring four people, not four things, four people. Like that's
Well, I
like,
wouldn't take you, Brennan.
yeah, I know. I would make that absolutely living hell. That would be hell on earth for anybody.
I would take old Brian Greer first over you.
100%.
I mean, I'm not shocked, dude. I'm not shocked. I would take Chris. I think Chris would be like an absolute gem to have because he would just make fun of you the whole time.
Can't
But
start a fire. Ha.
oh yeah, no, right. You got to pick somebody who's like of use. I'd be like, I don't know, man. Look it up. But why would I know that? Why choose me? But okay, you can read it. You texted it to me, dude.
I did.
It's a good question.
Is shortstop the most athletic position in your mindset?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
Is
I
there
just saw something today about the Padres. 7 of their 9 starters, if Jackson Merrill starts, would have been shortstops when they first came up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the question would then be like, you think it's one, why do you think it's the most athletic position? And B, do you think there's a position that you couldn't play with the knowledge of how to play shortstop?
I mean, I feel like you could say the couldn't play part. I think you could definitely say catcher would be the maybe,
Yeah.
but even then, I don't know. I would say catcher's the only thing that you could say just from a shortstop perspective that you shouldn't be able to play. Why? I think that's just like I think that's how recruiting works, honestly. I think you try and find the guy that if he can't play short, you go put him in this place. That would be my why. That would be my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so
But
like with that, was there a point where you're like, I want to play middle infield or I want to play shortstop, or was it kind of just like when you were 8, you were the best player on a certain team and they were like, we got to put you at shortstop, dude? Like you're
so
batting cleanup and you're playing shortstop. And you just kind of ran with it.
I actually was a catcher growing up.
Catcher is the most athletic position. No one can change my mind.
Um, I would balance between catcher and short, but my dad was a shortstop, and he's one of my probably my biggest influence, and so I just kind of wanted to be like him. That's where I got it from. Once the catching part didn't work out, but yeah, I just watched him or listened, went with it. But
So continuing kind of on that path of your dad, we'll get back to the stupid little funny questions about baseball later. But getting back to your dad, we've talked to your dad. I don't know if you even knew
yeah,
that. We've got something with your going in the works with your dad. He seems like a good dude. Obviously, we haven't, been able to, but what you've turned into and the way he's interacted with us, obviously we can tell he's a good guy. Um, and you just said he was one of your biggest influences as a kid. Was there something, was when you started playing baseball, were you like, because of my dad, because that's why I played basketball. Because everybody always told me that, that's what your dad did. That's kind of like, it'd be great if you played basketball, So like, was it kind of, obviously that's not the reason you still do it. You're not just like, my dad told me I had to be here. But I mean, what kind of, what is that relationship like? Or what is that, even in the beginning into now? Obviously it's different, but.
yeah, to this day, he's still my best friend. And so I think obviously growing up, that's what he he never forced me to do any sport. I don't really know how baseball really started. I think I've always just done it. But I'm guessing that's where I kind of wanted to play from him, and then I liked it, so I just kept playing it. But I think wiffle ball is really what kept me through it and loved it, made me love it. But yeah, my dad is our relationship is awesome. We both love the game, so sharing it with each other is pretty special for sure.
Me and Tyler were talking about this pre-pod as two, what are they called now? Non-athletic regular people, NARPs. Um, non-athletic regular people.
Retired. I prefer retired athlete.
Dude, shut up. You just have bad knees. Um,
Hey, a catcher can't play catcher with no knees. Just saying.
yeah, dude, you got like, I don't know, but as two NARPs, we often argue if given a fake scouting report, like the other team thinks that you're a pure hitter, how in 100 at bats, how many times could you get on base against like Cy Young caliber major league guys? I'm not talking about like the fifth, the double header call up, the 27th man on an
Is
MLB.
Carson Milbrandt a starter in this scenario?
No, I'm talking about like you're facing Garrett Cole every healthy Garrett Cole. So like Garrett Cole for 2 weeks every
Okay,
year.
but Garrett Cole with Spider Tech or without?
I can't confirm nor deny that any cheating will be in use. But what do you in 100 at bats? How many times could you get on base? It's whatever we said. It's significantly higher. So
Like you're saying me, how many?
yes,
What
how
could,
many times could you get on base?
that's a good question. I don't know. I want to say.
I think I
wanna
could
say
draw 2 walks. Like,
yeah. I want to say 20, but I might be out of, I might be not thinking right.
right.
I'd say 10. 10's probably a safer route.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah. I'm drawing 2 walks or maybe he's getting inside and hitting me once. that's my
Yeah,
only
Brennan can't hit.
I
I took this man out to hit one time.
Oh, dude, I can't hit anymore. I played baseball growing up until I was like 10, but I became a basketball guy in like 6th grade. I probably saw somebody like hurt their leg and I was like, yeah, let's move on to a less contact sport.
Is it last year I took you out and we went hitting and you didn't hit nothing?
Yeah,
I went righty.
I'm
a traditional righty. And I was hitting a lot righty. And I'm like, Brennan, if you can't hit, I'm gonna go bet lefty and I bet you I can hit more than you.
Oh, dude, I was never a hitter, dude. I was like a PO in 6th grade, dude. I committed, dude.
That's not good.
Which next question, do you ever just kind of dream of being a PO? Are you just like, it'd be great if I could just like play once every 4 days?
Yeah, just sit there. I mean, from the outside, it looks like they do just nothing, but
Oh, those guys
just from the high school team, they run more than anyone. So
right.
I'm gonna go with no.
But I mean, like, I don't know, man. Tyler, all I know is that when it comes to long toss, I've got you beat by a solid 60 feet.
Well, that's because I got catcher arm now,
Yeah, dude, I have my shoulder has been untouched for like 7 years.
And I will tell you this: a catcher's arm is worse than a pitcher's arm, and I'll go to the grave saying that.
Dude, you like
a catcher throws the ball back as much as time as the pitcher pitches it, and we throw full force more than what a pitcher does.
Get the fuck, dude! You're not sitting here and arguing.
No, I'm saying
it's more wear than a pitcher. There's no shot.
The pitcher comes out at some point. The catcher stays in the whole game and tosses that ball back.
Oh my!
Come on, Drew, you got to agree with me.
Come on, bro.
Last point was good.
You make a point, but like, are you really like
every time?
I don't know, man. Like,
you've seen like Salvador Perez and Yachty walk out with that giant ice pack on their shoulder.
Yeah, you know who else I've seen do that? Kobe. Like, you're not like, come on, dude. Like, it just depends on the guy. I don't know why that made me think of that one time that Anthony Rizzo like couldn't hit for a month, and they were like, "Oh, he had a concussion a month ago, and he just played." That was last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like dude, that's weird. It's like, I don't know. I remember back in the day in the NFL when you got a concussion, and if it was Monday and you played on Thursday night football that week, or Sunday and you played Thursday night football that week, like you were probably playing. Like now it's like
that's what it was when I was in high school. They
didn't. For a month.
I can't say that they didn't check for concussions, but you definitely had athletes, including myself, that went up because they made you take that test or whatever.
Yeah. Do you have?
You would purposely flunk it.
Like the impact test, is that what it's called?
Yes, impact test. I used to purposely flunk it because I knew I would get some.
Dude,
I knew even concussed me would
at
do better.
Town ever flunked that test is because if they had to go back and take it again, our athletic trainer was hot. So like, you have to be in the same room as the athletic trainer. I don't know if you've ever seen
watch this,
but yeah, Katie McEwen is gonna watch our podcast. But shout out, Katie. That's my dog. Shout out Metro Sports athletic trainer Katie McEwen. Oh man, we have talked briefly in the past about doing player rankings. But our big thing is we try to appeal to the athletes, right? So I've never been on that ship because it's like, do you guys really even care? Like, you do, but you don't.
Yeah, I think there's kids. I'm not gonna say who, but I definitely think there's kids that do believe in them. Um, uh, yeah, I think there's some growing up to do for some people, but yeah, it doesn't like totally mean something. It means something, obviously, but it's not like,
Ironclad, like you're going out, like you play Liberty North and you're like,
yeah,
PBR has Trey at, yeah, or whatever, you know? And honestly, like they do serve a purpose. Like even
yeah,
for us media, it's like
yeah,
with us like going out of our coverage area, like now I have to know, you know, who's good for Eureka and Lafayette and schools like that. So it's like we know who's in, you know, these food categories for guys like you said you wanted to face Cole. And it's like without that, obviously you would still know that Cole's good, but it's just kind of an added thing for outsiders or for non-baseball guys to just be like, oh yeah, that'd be a good matchup. But dude, some of the things they're based off of, like, I don't know, dude. Like when we're looking into the preseason ranking stuff or the preseason like player of the year stuff, like if I ever look at like the infield velo stat and make a decision based off of an infield velo rating, I should lose my job. Like that is the weirdest, like I don't care how fast you throw the ball 15 feet over the first baseman's head. Like, right, like I
I think
don't
that's what happens most of the time.
listen, I don't watch these things. I
They
don't
just say here, field a ground ball and throw that thing, and they don't really check where it
in front of
goes.
somebody. I don't even know. But like obviously you have the experience. You were at Super 60, which I thought was actually pretty good. I watched a lot of the Super 60 clips. What is obviously as a baseball guy, what is that like for you? Because it's not game type, but you also have to kind of be locked in for it because you want to have good numbers.
um, it was the coolest like showcase event that I've been to. Like obviously I've seen it online and whatnot, and I've always been like, dude, I want to be there. And
Right.
then I walked in the doors and I was like, I'm here. Like it was crazy. And the scouts are right behind you. Like it was super cool. But yeah, it's just playing baseball still. You're just doing it kind of on top of scouts.
Yeah, is there a different feeling that goes into that though? Because obviously, like at your high school games, there's a chance you're gonna have some scouts there. Like last year when uh Blue Spring South played Liberty North, like a couple even major league groups had scouts because Tommy was doing like 98 high against high school kids. So, I mean, what is the feeling? Because they're on top of you, like they're on a mezzanine and all around you, sitting in chairs. Like, is there kind of like a, hey man, like I gotta like not, I don't know, like you know what I'm saying, like nerves, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely like walking up to go do something is like, well, here we go. Like this is you either do good or you do bad. I don't really know, but at the end of the day, you just got to tell yourself, it's just baseball, and I do this every single day. But yeah, there's definitely more nerves than I would say just walking to the plate with your high school buddies. Um,
Oh, for sure.
but it's just
And so obviously these are kind of under review and none of these are always ironclad. But let's say that for some reason you hit 40 tanks this year or something crazy and you become a, you know, top 10, top 20 high school recruit in terms of the draft. Is there a certain area where you'd be like, Oklahoma, let's talk this through? Because that's, I mean, that's a real thing that guys in your territory have to think of, like Carson a couple of years ago, where nobody knew what he was going to do.
yeah. So that's kind of just now being discussed, I guess you could say. I don't know. I do know. I don't have a like this or no. type of answer right now. Obviously there's dreams, but I don't know yet. I couldn't answer that question right now. I just don't know.
That's not a bad thing. Like I don't want, yeah, at all. I mean, that's a crazy like baseball specific thing that guys have to deal with where you're like, oh, like I've made this commitment and now there's this guy that's like, hey, you want $1 million to play to play minor league baseball for a couple of years? So, I mean, I can't even imagine even having to start that conversation with your family or even like being like, hey man, I might need an agent. Like, what's that? I mean,
Just don't call John. Don't call Scott
Scott
Boras.
Boras. Yeah, never.
We'll be your agent. One of us will.
In 10 years, if you're like running out of team control in Major League Baseball and we see that Scott Boras is your agent, I might cry. Like, God, I have like an unfathomable amount of hate for Scott Boras. And
Like,
I'm not even like I watch 140,000 baseball games a year, but it's just like, dude, why? 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 Like Blake Snell still not being on a roster and opening days and like the Soul Series is like a week, isn't it?
Sure.
Are you? Yeah, and I guess that's another thing that we could ask. Like, do you watch a lot of baseball outside of playing, or is it kind of been like you're playing baseball a lot of the week? Is there time constraints on that, or are we sitting down and watching pitch clock baseball?
So right now, obviously on my phone, I see whatever through Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. So there's that. I see that more than I see anything on my phone. But yeah, like every time OU plays, I'll watch them. I'm not a big like sit there and watch TV for hours. It's just I don't think that fits into my schedule through the day. But yeah, I don't know. It's not like I'm again totally like not gonna do it, but I'll watch it. It's just I also do it all day, so it just kind of depends. But
Is there any like weird niche thing that you do in your daily schedule that like people wouldn't guess, or because you seem kind of like a run-of-the-mill guy where you're just, I'm just here, man. And I mean, and obviously you're pretty good at it. But is there like a specific like, oh, before every game I eat blank, or before every practice I do this?
uh,
Are
I
you
mean,
weird, Drew? Are you weird? I'm kidding.
somewhat. But I every time I tie my shoe, I tie a triple knot. That's probably one of the weirder things I do.
I'm
we were
convinced
just doing this the other day.
tie his shoes.
We were just
What?
doing this the other day.
I'm kidding. No, yeah, my roommate and my girlfriend tie shoes like crazy people. Like they're in an average of probably a second and a half. They tie your shoes. It takes
Yeah.
Tyler 3.5 seconds to stand up.
Hey, it also takes me about 3.5 minutes to tie my shoe, but that's because I don't wear
Right.
Delisa's anymore. I either got Hey Dudes or boots.
Hey, real question though, Tyler. What time do you like if you have to be somewhere at 6:30 a.m., what time do you wake up?
Well, I'm up at 4:30 every morning, 4 to 4:30.
No, but I'm saying if you had somewhere to be at 6:30, like just a regular. Also, how are you not tired right now? I'd be like dead. It's like 7:30. I would be
See,
dead asleep.
you two haven't got there yet, where you're an adult, like have a full-time job, where you had to be there early in the morning, and I
Hey,
had to work out before I went to work because you can't do it after, kind of thing.
all I'm saying is that
But
you have a full-time job. I am in
not
debt.
right now, though.
I am
I'm
in
unemployed.
debt. And Drew is just cooling. Drew is just skating by. Like Drew's bigger worry is about how much a Major League Baseball team could offer him. And I'm like, crap, student loan debt. It's like life is paradise, And I mean, I don't envy you, you know? I don't sit here and be like, oh, I wish I was that guy. But like, I certainly don't think that about you, Tyler. Um, but but I mean, so, you see my
Hey, I
mom.
have that
So,
trade school education.
right. Yeah, you had to live in Lynn, Missouri, which is like hell on most people, but
Hey, they hold the national like archer thing there,
what?
where you
I feel
like the
like you
best
could do
archers
that.
go.
I feel like you'd be good at archery.
I am good at archery.
Drew, is there a sport
Too.
that for everybody on the call, is there a sport that you think if you put your full attention to, you could, besides for you, baseball, that you could potentially play professional at any level? I'm talking about like I could go play in Switzerland and basketball, or like go play crappy, like not semi-pro football, but like, you know, is there anything you think you could play, any professional sport you could play?
I think I could. I think I for sure play football. If I would have put the same like football.
You're
Is this
also
me with knees? Is this me with knees?
no, this is you in your current status.
Oh damn! I can go beat some 3-year-olds in a game of basketball.
I'm I'm fairly convinced that if you gave me a year to train and I had infinite money, that I could be the best pickleball player in the world. I don't know, like I sort of I watch it and I'm like, dude, I'm not that far away, you know? You watch the NBA and it's like I will never be able to hit my head on the bottom of the rim. Like it's just not gonna happen. But like, dude, I could hit this small projectile 5 feet away. Like, come on. I think
I
all
mean,
I think Drew could. I don't know about you because you're not mobile. And I
no,
still can move a little bit. And you stink at pickleball, dude. You suck.
I still got that home run swing.
Yeah, dude. He he swings like the net is 40 feet off the ground. Like he's hitting it like a 25-degree launch angle. Trying to hit it over the monster in Fenway. Like that's
Dude,
too.
it's why I think I could go. I think I could golf. I think that's the one thing I could do if you gave me like 2 years of getting ready for.
I don't think you could pay me to be good at golf.
Dude, it's awful.
You have to get your baseball. Like when you said that they brought you to a top golf, I'm like they really want to ruin these kids' swings.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I was bombing balls though. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the best swing ever.
It was
You
like
remember
the
Cespedes a
you had
couple
like
years
an
ago?
alpha dog moment. You're like, I've got to be the guy. Like,
You remember
never
Cespedes a
take a
couple
Drew
years ago?
McCann. Huh?
You remember Cespedes a couple years ago?
When he was good, or like
Yeah,
when
when he was
kept
good,
lighting
there
up?
there was a point on the Mets where he went on like a 2-month streak where he couldn't hit, and then he came out and said because he was playing golf every day.
I'm not shocked. It's Giannis Cespedes. He could have been like, I was snorting coke off random Cuban ladies, and I would have been like, yeah, checks. Giannis
No,
Cespedes.
that's Aroldis Chapman.
The Aroldis Chapman's.
Drew, did you see his Instagram story?
Yeah, please tell me you saw that, dude.
Send
Google,
it to him.
don't Google it. But Aroldis Chapman, I just imagine your grandma, right? Actually, don't do that. But it was bad, dude.
Here, hold on. Let me find it real quick.
If you type in ARO on Google, it's the first search result. Am I gonna have to blur this? Is this copyright?
Dude, what?
Dude, and he's gripping that thing with his hand, dude. He's gripping it. And it's a video, man. It was really unsettling. And my favorite thing was there was a tweet that said like Aroldis Chapman topping 75. And we're like, oh, is his arm hurt? Oh, is his arm hurt? No. His arm's fine. Like, I mean, there's a lot of questions that we could ask. I think that's his mom, which makes it even weirder. But like, I don't know. That's crazy. That's insane. Nah, man. Tyler, I do want to briefly talk as we talk about schools with basketball teams that choke. We
Okay,
all
no. We're not talking about this.
we
Hey,
all three attend
no. We're not
notorious
talking
basketball choking schools. We do. Northtown has had like a top 5 team in Kansas
Hey,
City
let me
all of the
enjoy.
last 4 years.
Let me
And
enjoy
we
Winnetonka
suck.
making to the state for the first time ever. Let me
Yeah, that's
enjoy it.
better than both of our schools. Drew's was the #1 team in Missouri to start the year. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, you know
Hey,
what?
they're good. They're good at softball and baseball. They're good
Hey,
at softball and
their
baseball.
football team was
And
pretty
football.
too.
I hyped them up before the year with Adam.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that interview got like it was like 60,000 views or something. And
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
a random interview with a kid who had never played football before, and they're like, he's gonna be good.
He had an NFL reporter follow him,
Really?
Jordan Schultz, whatever his name is.
Jordan Schultz follows me on Instagram.
He's a weird guy.
He's an interesting guy. Yeah, really that's all I've got for today. And I figure that we have taken enough of Drew's time, but we will definitely see you this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
So you guys play Carney, right?
Yeah, they do play
them
They
Monday.
play Carney. So my two teams, I picked one state.
Yeah, do they play them Monday? Yeah, they play on Monday. I will be at definitely the Bentonville game and the Lafayette game. I don't know if we'll watch you guys 3 times, but we'll try to watch you twice because I would definitely like to see you guys play Lafayette.
That'd be awesome.
A lot of places ranked Lafayette a lot higher than we did. They're a good team. That's all I've got to say about them. They're a good team. But yeah, I'm excited. Today is the last day if we're putting Missouri and Kansas together. Today is the last day besides Sundays until May that there's not a baseball game because Lawrence plays tomorrow. And then there's 91 games that we cover on Friday. So it definitely ramps up quick. I'm really excited. I think I speak for both of us when I say we're really excited. And obviously you are, you get the one last shot at the elusive state title, but we'll check in with you throughout the year. I appreciate you joining us and hoping for a happy and healthy year.
Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.